Hey guys, how's it going? Well, I just found out that it's Asexuality Awareness Week, and so I got inspired to do a video. For those of you who don't know me, I have a channel called Mind of Our Own that I started 2 years ago, so it was the fall of, 2013. I was in the process of getting diagnosed for Asperger syndrome, and I started sharing about my story, and so that's a lot of what I talk about on my channel, and also complex chronic health issues, because that's also part of my story. This is my first video about asexuality. So just to give you a little bit of background, I first started hearing about asexuality maybe about a year ago, and I started to think, that might be me. That might be me. I don't want to say, oh, this is a coming out video or anything like that. I just want to say that I think that might be my orientation. It's hard, I think, because I spent so many years suppressing my true self and trying to be something that I wasn't, that I've been really spending some time and trying to tease out, well, what is it that I really feel, and what is it that I really felt, and what is sexual attraction? I think you grow up and you just think oh, it must be this thing I'm feeling. You don't really question it, in the sense that since you're the only one in your body, you only know what you feel. And so, if you could, somehow transport yourself into someone else's body who was either, heterosexual or gay or whatever, you would know how that felt. So in your own body, you don't know exactly what that should feel like. So right now, I'm still really trying to tease out exactly what it is that I feel, and look back at my history as well. So... But yeah, all signs point to something in the asexual, demisexual, gray sexual arena. What do I want to say? And I think being older, it's there's been so many layers of suppression and whatnot, and trying to fix myself. That's what I have done for so many years, and I'm so honestly jealous of the young people that are asexual, that are just coming to their awareness now, because my God, to be able to have support and understanding when you're young is it would be so wonderful. I just, I have Asperger syndrome as well, and not everyone who's asexual has Asperger's by any stretch of the imagination. But there is some correlation. It seems like there's a higher incidence of asexuality within the Asperger's community, from what I've heard. So thinking about growing up, it's somewhat hard to tease out, what was the Asperger's and what's asexuality and whatnot. I was always different. I always knew I was different, and I guess it's hard. I haven't even talked about this, so it's hard to talk about, and I haven't fully teased it out, but I guess I was just different in the way I reacted to dating and all that. It just didn't feel really natural to me at all. It never has. It just never has. And sex either. I remember telling a therapist, it's I don't get it. Not I don't receive it, but I don't get it. I don't get it. And she didn't understand. And I've told many people about this, many professionals, and they always just think it's a medical issue or depression or this or something else. And it's no, I know now it's not. It's something more. And I believe it's my orientation. Yeah, I think I'm heteroromantic. I think I do have some desire for a romantic relationship of the opposite sex. But even that, I'm just I'm not designed to be a girlfriend or a wife or any of that. I don't know. There's something else that I want, and it's the traditional relationship is just not my thing. And I really have only had 2 relationships that lasted over 10 months, you know. Both of them were like 11 months. And that, you know, I'm sure a lot of that was the asexuality issue. But there's also, I think, like maybe I'm like gray romantic or something as well. I'm definitely like really independent and whatnot. It's just the whole thing, like thing about dating and the routine, and you know, and again, it's hard to tease out where's the Asperger's, where's the asexuality, like the whole ritual, and like you're supposed to do this and say this, and you know, and this is his role and this is your role and you're supposed to do this. Like I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I don't, and but like I want intimacy, and I don't want to grow old alone, and I want a partner. Like for me, it's more like a playmate. You know, I want a playmate, somebody to have adventures with and to support each other, and to snuggle and maybe kiss and all that. But I don't know about the sex part. So, but yeah, I feel like I don't know what I'm saying. It's all just such a new thing to talk about. I guess I'll talk more about how I felt. I just felt like a freak. There's something wrong with me. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and I remember, and I even shared about this in one of my Asperger's video about being a teenager, and there being a party, and it was like a makeout party, and like all those people are pairing up, and it didn't really seem like my thing. I didn't really want to go like on to dances and all that, other than I just wanted to do it so I could feel normal. But the actual doing of it, I didn't want to do. And I think that there is like a wall around me. I don't really get like approached very much, and I think that's part of maybe the vibe I'm sending out. I have had hurtful comments about me, judgments. I tried to, I guess, force myself to do things that I didn't want to do. I guess I just thought I should. And I tried to, I guess, convince myself that it was what I wanted. I used the alcohol to try and, I guess, loosen up. Just still something was amiss. About 10 years ago, I gave up alcohol and had some other things, caffeine and some other things. And it was like there was nothing coming my way. No interest, nothing. And it was like clearly that the alcohol was the only thing that was like loosening me up, I guess. And then I would be like flirty, and it just was not me. And like take away that, it's like forget it. I mean, there might be people who are interested, but they definitely don't approach. I mean, hardly ever. It's a hard thing. And it's a hard way to live. And for all these years, just the message to myself, I'm a freak. And like, there were things like, I was like, I'm always going to be, I'll always be alone. I like just kind of knew that. But it wasn't like in a good way or an accepting way. I didn't want that, but I just knew. And I mean, my God, just thinking about all the like work events I've been to alone, and weddings I've been to alone or with like a female friend, and all, you know, seeing everybody get married and have kids and all that, going to reunions, like high school reunions, another reunion alone and unmarried, and then being like, oh, so how about you? Where do you guys live? Like, well, it's just me. They're like, do you have any kids? No. I've never been married, I don't have kids. And they're like, oh. It's like you feel like a freak when people respond like, oh, like, what? Like, I might as well have just said I have two heads. Like, that's how they respond. Like, and then it's like there's this awkward thing where, like, they don't know what to say. And like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with that. You know? I think there's so many great videos out there about this whole thing. So people who have a lot more knowledge and insight and understanding than I do at this point. So definitely check them out because they talk about all this stuff. I'm just still kind of processing it. Yeah, I even went to like this fancy schmancy clinic for sexual health, female sexual health. I saw it on Oprah, okay? And I got this full workup and everything, and all right, I don't know, this is just a little snarky side of me. It was like all these gorgeous women in like their late 20s, early 30s in these gorgeous pantsuits with spiked heels who worked there. And they're just like, well, you just need to masturbate more and all this. And oh, the whole thing was just so awful. Like, I got no help. I just felt more shame and I felt worse about myself. And then, you know, yeah, how many therapists, one after the other, trying to figure this out. I figured, you know, because I had, you know, like alcoholism in my family, and, you know, I just thought, well, it must be related to that. It must be a trauma thing. I don't know. But there are plenty of people from alcoholic homes who are not asexual. Most, probably. But I just figured it must be psychological. And I figured, I mean, I even thought I must have been sexually abused. That must be why. And I've come to think, like, I don't know. I don't think I was, actually. Maybe I don't remember, but I don't think I was. Like, I tried something else that it was supposed to help me and fix me of my my sexual issues. And I did that for a few years. And every time I would, like, try and do this thing, kind of like a self-help kind of a thing, I'd just feel worse about myself, and I'd feel more shame. And I'd want to die. I mean, this problem was so bad. There have been times I wanted to die. Just feeling so alone. And, like, that there is something deeply and utterly flawed in me. So much of it is not knowing that you're not alone. You know, knowing that this is a thing and it's real and a lot of people have it. I mean, if they say it's, you know, 1% of the population, what is that, 3 million people in the U.S. alone? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And that it is a normal variation. Just like, you know, people are becoming more aware and accepting of different orientations, pansexuality or bisexuality, transgender, gender orientations. Like, there's just so much diversity out there, and this isn't talked about. And it's like, once you at least get a name, that helps. But unfortunately, we live in a society that is very sexualized, that it's like, that's the norm, and if you're not like that, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. And then there's just the reality of it, which is a whole other thing, which is like that I would like to have some kind of relationship, but clearly it'd have to be somebody who is sexually compatible with me. I think I'm in the early stages of healing from everything that I've been through and accepting myself. I mean, there are a lot of people that really show a lot of pride in being asexual, and they seem to really have embraced who they are and have a good life. And I hope that for myself. I do. And this is the start. I'm so grateful to everybody that has come before me and has shared their stories. I am, because I had no idea. And it's like, I've tried to even tell friends over the years and I didn't have the words for all of it. And of course everyone's like, oh, well, it's just, yeah, you haven't found the right person, or that kind of thing. They mean well, you know. They just don't understand. And I mean, I have really only told like 2 people in my life about this so far, that I think that this is my orientation. But anyway, I was saying about how I was doing that program, like that self-help kind of thing. And after a few years, it was like, it just made things worse every single time. And I finally was like, I cannot keep doing this to myself. I can't. I feel so much worse. And I just finally said, you know what? I'm just going to accept that I am how I am and stop trying to fix myself. And that helped bring a lot of peace of mind to me. It's not all, because it's still really hard to live in this society and people asking you, oh, are you seeing anyone? No, I'm not. And like the events and things that I told you about, it's hard, and I'm lonely. I am really honestly lonely. And like, I still want to be held. I still want to be cared for and to care for somebody else. So the loneliness is really deep. But yeah, I think I'm so glad that I stopped doing that to myself, trying to fix myself and change myself and force myself. So, I guess that's really it for today. It's a pretty long intro, I guess, about this topic. There's so much I'm thinking in the back of my head, and there's so many other great videos that you can watch. And I hope that people can just be a little more knowledgeable and understanding and kind, and realize there's nothing wrong with us. We're just different, and that's okay, and it makes life beautiful, you know? So that's it. Thank you.